afternoon. It's Hey Sports, another edition. It is October the 1st, and we are about 45 minutes away from Game 2 of the Chicago Cubs wild card playoff game against San Diego Padres. We will talk about that game and the potential of what might take. Talk about last night's game that they did win 3-1. A couple of concerning things happened in that particular game, and then we'll talk about today's game, and then get into the Bears sitting back with a 2-2 record at this point in time with an upcoming bye. Which direction you want to lead into first?
Well, talk Bears because I want this episode to be heavily Cubs.
Okay, Bears are 2-2. They, as I was told, okay, quit replaying. They're 2-2. Okay, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, that it took basically a blocked field goal on the last play of the game against an inferior Oakland Raider team. Yeah, I know they're Las Vegas, but they're still Oakland, and they're still going to be Oakland. And with the abysmal performance of Geno Smith as a pro NFL quarterback, he was terrible, okay? And if you've been following this show, I rag on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams wasn't much better. I think he had 212 yards. Okay, yeah, he had 3 touchdown passes, but I think 2 of them were within 5 yards.
Well, one of them was an actual touchdown pass.
And he threw one decent one, okay? Just as the Caleb Williams watch.
3 balls were deflected at the line.
He had 3 deflections that fell on him. If you watch some of his passes, they weren't even close. He has a full week of nothing but practice. They got the bye this week. Then they roll into Washington and Baltimore. Okay? And again, his first things that came out of his mouth was the 4,000 yards.
Okay.
He's currently at 927 yards.
Well, your team won the game. And your team won the football again.
And he has to average, let's just be accurate, he needs to average 237 yards a game for the next 13 games in order to make that 4,000. Okay?
Okay.
And you would think in this passing league, 234 yards, okay, 237 yards, which is basically 240, which means that 60 yards a quarter should be a walk in the park for an NFL quarterback. Okay? And especially the shittier team, I'm going to use the word shittier teams, the shittier teams are still coming up. Yeah, the Giants, the Saints, the Bengals, who are brutal.
Bengals have nobody.
Okay? So those are 3...
Bengals are dropping like flies.
Those are 3 crappy teams. That, he should get well over that. And we'll see what happens. They're 2-2. I'm still sitting there. I'm not changing my gears.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
High water mark. Okay.
Okay. Then don't talk to me when they win.
Okay.
Then I don't want to listen to that.
So they are 2-2, and
okay.
I think they're tied for last.
Well, it's because Green Bay tied.
Well, what's Minnesota?
I think Green Bay lost. I think Minnesota lost. Minnesota, I think is in 3rd place.
Minnesota got 1 loss or 2.
I think 2.
So they're 2-2, but they beat the Bears head up.
Yeah.
So I think technically the Bears are still in dead last in their division.
Well, they are.
Okay.
And we can thank the McCaskey family for that.
Okay, well. So that's where we're rolling with the Bears. We'll probably put air.
That's okay, because the new stadium will never get built.
Okay. But we're going to kind of pause a little bit on Bear talk.
Something a little more optimistic.
Okay, the Cubbies, the W's behind us. And right on top of that is Aurelio's Pizza. Again, it's the sauce. If you get to the south side of Chicago, the original, if you get to Homewood, okay? Homewood, Illinois, that's the original. And it's the sauce. But the Cubs are 1-0 in the playoffs. They won last night.
In the wild card round.
Wild card round. Couple of concerns. If I got a couple of notes here, they only had 4 ground outs last night. What basically we're saying is everything was either a strikeout or something hit in the air. They struck out 13 times.
27 outs in a game.
That's 1 out of every 2 was the strikeout.
So 13 out of that 27 was strikeouts.
Yeah, 1 out of every 2 almost.
That's not good.
They hit 3 home runs. Again, fly balls. And everything else was a fly ball. So as my co-host has always said, if the Cubs don't hit a home run...
This Cub team, and we got the documentation to back that up.
And I got that documentation to back it up, how many games they had hit home runs. But we're not going there. That'll be like a true wrap-up to see when everything is done.
Do you know, because I hope you do, because you say it to me every day, you rag on him every day. Do you have that Armstrong stat on the top of your head? The one about second post the All-Star game. His stats after the All-Star game.
At the top of my head, after the All-Star game, he hit 6 home runs and I believe 24 RBIs off the top of my head. I believe he ended up with a batting average at the All-Star break of 237, and I think he was 188 against lefties in that particular time period. He ended up with 155 strikeouts, and he only hit 140 hits. And last night, he went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. And this is the guy. No other, but when you watch these games, they never say, as Suzuki goes, the Cubs go. Or as Swanson goes, the Cubs go.
Or Bush.
Or Bush goes, how the Cubs go. They all say, as PCA goes. And he does his utter thing.
Okay.
And that's how the Cubs go. No! He's the one that's expendable. I asked you last night flat out. As we're watching.
You got to be specific. Do you ask me or do you ask the audience?
I asked you last night.
Thank you. See?
As we're watching the Boston game and watching Garrett Crochet, we'll get him into that in a minute, ex-White Sox. I asked you flat out if you would trade Pete Crow Armstrong and Ballesteros, or did I say Shaw, for Garrett Crochet straight up, and you said yes.
I didn't say anything about Shaw or Ballesteros. I said if I traded Armstrong for...
I gave you another guy.
Well, I don't remember saying that for those 2 guys. But I did agree if I could trade Armstrong for Garrett Crochet straight up, I would do it. I would, because, and before you say anything, I want to explain my reasoning to the audience. Well, for one, Armstrong is a 240 hitter at most. You claim he's Adam Dunn with speed, and he kind of is. 2, he had the great stretch of time before the All-Star break, and then after that, he was like a totally different person. 3, the 30-30, yeah, that's nice, but it's not 40-40. And everyone was making it out as if, he even had any realm of possibility to be a 40-40 guy. I don't think he's not gonna be. He's not worth all the money that he thinks he's gonna be worth when it's all said and gonna be done. And then to go along with it, what is it? What's the other stat? Him left-handed versus right-handed.
Well, off the top of my head, I don't know about the right-handed, but he's batting 187 against left-handers all year long.
See,
Lefty against lefty, $187, and he plays. Okay? Because then the question I asked you last night was, okay, again, if he wasn't playing center field,
where would he?
and you had anybody else playing center field, if you had a healthy Tucker, or if you shifted, or if you played Willie Castro in center, or if you played Kevin Alcantara in center, and you left everything just the way it is, I think we both agreed last night that the Cubs would be in the same spot they're in now in a wild card. Then I asked you the question, would the Cubs have made the playoffs if Matt Shaw wasn't playing third base?
Whoa, no. I was the one who wanted Matt Shaw on the Cub team longer than anybody.
Right.
You know that.
Right. But Shaw at third
Yes.
saved more games than Pete Crow Armstrong ever did in center.
Yes.
So the fact of the matter is,
Matt Shaw's more valuable. That's your point.
And Pete Crow Armstrong is expendable.
Well,
and people think you can't get rid of this guy.
All the farm system talent, they're all outfielders anyway. And where are they going to play?
They're all outfielders.
They're not playing left. Hap's got no trade deal. No one's going to go right because you have Seiya Suzuki, and you'd like to have either him or Kyle Tucker to come back. So,
or if you go, and the guy said this morning, are you opting out for free agency? And he said yes immediately. Pete Alonso. Now I know Pete Alonso plays first base, but how about this? How about this scenario?
No.
The Cubs signed Pete Alonso, and he goes to DH, and Tucker gets out of this mysterious injury.
Yeah,
Tucker ends up playing center.
That could happen.
And Suzuki ends up playing right because he's been playing right as long as Tucker's been on this alleged illness. And then all of a sudden, you make Pete Crow Armstrong expendable, and you ship his sorry ass, and you get a starter.
Now, that would be perfect, but no one would do that.
It's not going to happen.
You know what? Since you want to talk about mysterious illnesses, how did was Cade Horton?
We'll go to the Cade Horton thing because we're going to talk about the starting pitching. We're going to get into the Cade Horton thing in a minute.
Oh, okay.
But that's on my list of things without question to talk about. So we will discuss that.
Oh yeah, we will.
Okay.
We're not too pleased.
And
shook down.
But everybody thinks that and people are going to the ballpark taking their shirts off and lines of people PCA. No, they're not winning because of Pete Crow Armstrong.
They're winning because of Bush. They're winning because of Swanson. They're winning because of the defensive performance at second base.
Because the question is, which guy is not going to have the year he's going to have this year?
Let me ask you this question. And I'm asking the audience, not you. I'm asking the audience. Who would you rather have, Nico Horner or Pete Crow Armstrong?
No, that's...
Because if anybody says Armstrong, you're stupid.
Pete Crow Armstrong is the guy that can be expendable out of this. Because yes, you have Owen Casey, and you got Alcantara, and those guys can play center field. Tucker can play center field.
Seiya can play center field. Hap can play center field.
And all of a sudden, the guy who's going to regress next year is going to be Pete Crow Armstrong. Okay.
Just because he hit 30 home runs.
Because then if he's going to get better, that means he's going to have to hit 35. He's not going to hit 35 home runs next year. He's not going to not get 100 runs.
He might get like 20 home runs, 19 home runs. How many home runs do you think he's going to have next year?
He won't have 30. Okay. 22, 23, but he's not going to have 30.
How many stolen bases? 25?
No. He'll get on base. He'll steal 30 bases. Okay, but he's still going to strike out against a left-handed pitch, and the Cubs better learn from that and start platooning him against lefties.
Why they failed to do that? Because I would make the argument that costed them a divisional title.
No,
I'd make an argument that did.
I have pinpointed. As you said, OPS numbers in the 700s are average.
Yeah.
I believe, and I'm off the top of my head, I believe his
I think
OPS was 754.
Okay.
That was below 800. Okay? That was below 800. And he didn't even attack that. Okay?
700 is marginal, 800 is good, 900 very good, 1,000 amazing.
I believe there was a stat OPS +1. I don't know what the hell that means. And I looked it up, and it said if you got 100, you're okay. He's with 79. I'm going to leave you with this before we roll into the pitching stuff. Okay? There was a gentleman who only played 56 games this year. That's 56 games were after the All-Star break. The gentleman had 21 homers and 54 RBIs. Pete Crow Armstrong had 6 and 24. Okay. Again, this gentleman had 21 home runs after the All-Star break and 54 RBIs. And his name was Colson Montgomery of the Chicago White Sox. He got called up after the All-Star break and hit 21 home runs. And is playing shortstop. Okay? And he hit 54 RBI. Those were his stats. His stats this year were 21 and 54. And everything after the All-Star break. Pete Crow Armstrong was 6 and 24.
Middle infielders can play center field.
And he played shortstop.
Short and second baseman can play center field.
And his batting average, lefty versus lefty, was 220-something. Not great, but it wasn't a $180. Okay.
You can find guys to get home runs.
Yeah. There's a million guys out there that can hit home runs.
There's only 2 people that hit 300.
2 guys batted 300.
Nico Horner being
and a couple guys batted 50. There's a lot of guys that hit 20 home runs. You know, O'Neill Cruz, Ellie Deli Cruz.
Yeah, you like him. I don't know why.
There's a boatload of guys that are hitting 20 home runs, 25 home runs. So Pete Crow, now today, he's 0 for 3. And they won yesterday, 0 for 3. Dylan Cease, ex-Cub, is pitching today for the San Diego Padres.
You're gonna go in a dizzy over that.
They should have never gotten rid of Dylan Cease from the get-go.
Okay, well, you don't have a time machine. You gotta get over it.
So
you don't have a time machine.
That's ragging on. I'm done ragging on. But the Cubs are up 1-0.
Yes,
okay.
They are. They have to win today.
And
finish it up. They have to win today.
If they win today, it's over, because these rest of these teams, you got to hope the Reds extend their series, but the Reds look pathetic last night.
The Reds are done.
Okay. And I don't know when the divisional series will start. Is that going to be this weekend, or will it start Friday?
I have no idea.
We got to look at the schedule. Hopefully we're going to get to Wrigley. And if they were to lose this game, hey, an all chips are in game tomorrow at Wrigley Field tomorrow.
What could be better than that?
You know, and maybe a trip to Clark and Addison might be expected.
Well, yeah, we may not get a ticket if that's the case. We may just have to hunker down in Murphy's bleachers.
Now,
time for the pitching.
Pitching today, from what I understand, it's going to be a bullpen game. Now the question is, did the Boston Red Sox last night have a bullpen game?
No.
And we watched that game. Did we not see?
Garrett Crochet threw like
117 pitches.
Oh, I thought it was 118.
Maybe 118. He pitched 8 1/3.
Yeah. And then Chapman came in.
Chapman came in and pitched the rest of the game.
Well,
they had 2 pitchers.
You want to know why they're not going to do that? Because they don't have Aroldis Chapman in their bullpen, and they don't have Garrett Crochet as one of their starters.
I heard Kickrich is going to start today. So they're going to go with... This is a game that they could... Why don't they put Imanaga on the hill, and you go and pitch...
Because he fell in the shower.
You pitch 90 pitches... And then it's bullpen by committee. Because what happens if you do this bullpen by committee crap today?
And then you lose.
And you lose. And you got all your arms spent tomorrow. That means your starters
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
got to go do or die tomorrow.
Well, you know what? Because this is the Notre Dame guy, and I can't criticize Notre Dame because every time I do, you get upset. But this is what the great $40 million Notre Dame man is doing with his great coaching staff that we just had to have because, and I'm gonna say it, and we talked about this. They thought, and that was the only move that they actually did. That was the only real de facto move that they actually did because you compared Tucker to Bellinger.
And we saw Bellinger's stats last night in the Yankee game, and they're better.
Yes.
Bellinger's stats are better.
And
now, I wasn't gonna back up the truck and pay Bellinger.
Well, you would pay him, but you didn't want to pay him $500 million.
I didn't want to pay Bellinger what Bellinger thought he was worth. I said I would have gave Bellinger a 3-year, $85 million, which would have been $27 million a year for 3 years. And he wanted like a 6-year contract.
Okay.
With the Yankees or a 5-year.
Okay, well, that's meaningless. That's irrelevant. Right. That's not my point. But my point being, okay, at third, you look at the entire team because. I'll start in the outfield. Ian Happ, okay, he didn't move. Center field, it was a question mark. Right field, it was, well, Yetsaya. DH was a question mark. Catcher, question mark. Third base was a question mark. Short, second was, and first, it was fine. First base, I have no idea why they platooned Michael Bush. They had no need to do it. And then you did it with a guy twice.
And you're right. The only day in and day out position that has been changed was Tucker and the manager. That's all they did.
Yes.
And you're correct.
Yes. And
because Shaw was in the system.
Right.
And everybody else has been in the system.
Right. But anyway, before I get back into my manager point here, I will have to say this because even though I think he's going to be good, I don't think he's going to be as good as everyone thinks he's going to be. Cam Ward, is it Cam Smith or Cam Ward?
Cam Smith.
Thank you. Not Cam Ward.
We never checked his stats for this year.
Cam Ward is Tennessee Titans football player. But anyway, Cameron Smith has like 6 years of contract control because he's got the rookie contract of the whole arbitration.
And he plays right field.
Right.
So you could have put Cam Smith in right and Suzuki as DH, and Suzuki was the bulk this year, has been a bulk of a DH.
And Tucker in center field.
If you're going to keep Tucker. And if you didn't, you still pick Crow Armstrong.
No, but my point being, why am I bringing that up? Because if you had a guy in your own program, in your own organization, this was your guy that you developed, this was your guy that you had up and coming, and you threw him away for... Even though you had him for like 5, 6, 7 years, that you knew that going in, for a guy who's significantly older than him, who is significantly more injury prone than him, and for a guy that you may only have for like 1 year, that's a problem. I don't even care if you do win a World Series this year. That still, I think, was a bad business decision.
Was a bad business decision.
But anyway, back to Craig Counsell. Okay, 5 years ago was the last year that the Cubs were in the postseason. Granted, it was a 60-game schedule, but it was a global pandemic of the coronavirus, COVID-19, global pandemic. David Ross was the manager. Cubs, 60-game schedule. Win the division. Granted, they lost in the playoffs. And then 2021, David Ross is now forced to watch his entire team get traded away. And then 2022, they get better. 23, they get better. 23, that's when we went to the Cincinnati trip where...
Right.
You
saw the games at the Cubs and the Reds.
Yeah. And then that offseason, fire him at 4 years. And then you go out and you bring a guy, Craig Counsell, who, when he was up in Milwaukee, you were very high on him. Now you're kind of backing up the truck on that.
Well, I didn't see the day in and day out stuff.
True.
All I knew was he was winning with mediocre talent.
True. Other than Yelich.
mediocre talent in Milwaukee. I didn't see the day in and day out. I didn't see how he handles the bullpen. I didn't see his press conferences. I don't see the milk toast stuff. So I didn't see that. All it was I looked at the schedule, I looked at the players in Milwaukee and go, how the hell's he winning? And he was winning.
But you were already winning. You already had a coaching staff that people liked, that the fan base admired,
yes,
respected, legitimately. You did not know how, you did not need to go and outsource something. That was not a problem, but you did. And now I see Craig Counsell, and I was a critic, and I said this last night. I was a critic with, Dale Swaim, Rick Renteria, Madden, David Ross, but it's like, I understood what those guys were coming from. This guy has all the talent in the world, and he's doing this stupid crap with the bullpen. And it's with the bullpen, with the starting rotation, he's platooning Michael Busch, but he's not platooning Ian Happ or Armstrong, and he's, letting Kyle Tucker just go to Florida for his own team doctor.
I think they were lucky to win last night. He took Boyd out.
He did.
With 4 2/3 innings, and he gave up 1 run, 2 hits. I think he gave up 70 pitches, and the poor bastard, the Cubs win, and he don't even get a postseason win because he didn't get 5 innings.
No.
And then it was bullpen got by committee. I think he threw 5 pitchers last night after Boyd.
But if yesterday was a bullpen by committee and today's a bullpen by committee, what the hell's going to be tomorrow?
Or is he going to just...
If you get to tomorrow.
I don't know. But getting back to the...
But my point being...
Right.
This man, Craig Counsell, is the highest paid coach in baseball history, and he has not indicated to me that he has deserved it at all.
Right.
Because, when they poached him from Milwaukee, people honestly, legitimately believed Milwaukee would just crash and burn. Milwaukee would just, fall to the bottomless pit of the Major League Baseball standings, the National League Central Division. That has not been the case at all whatsoever.
But we're going to find out. The Cubs do win this. The Cubs have to play Milwaukee.
They do.
Is that a 7-game series or a 5?
That would be 5.
And it'll be 3 games in Milwaukee and 2 games at Wrigley.
Probably.
Okay. Because they got... But getting back to the pitching thing, if the Cubs don't win this series, okay, Cade Horton is the reason. Because Cade Horton has a fractured rib.
What were you doing?
But nobody knows.
And no one is asking that.
And no one's asking the question.
No podcast is asking that.
No podcast. The podcast people are supposed to know everything because they troll. We don't troll. Podcast people are supposed to be trolling. We have no godforsaken reason why and how Cade Horton broke or fractured a rib.
Okay, and you have a health teaching background, and you said that in order to break a rib or fracture a rib, you need impact.
There got to be impact. And they say, well, he was coughing and he was hunching over. If you're coughing, you probably have pleurisy, maybe, which is an inflammation within the muscle in between the gaps of your rib cage. You might have bronchitis. You don't have a fracture. A fractured rib has to come in contact. So the question was he dicking around so much during the celebration? And first of all, when you celebrate to get in the wild card,
yeah, there's something wrong there.
That's ridiculous too.
There's something wrong there.
We didn't win a division
that you should have won, that you threw away.
Yeah, we were advancing in, and we're taking all these bottles of champagne and we're dicking around and we're shaking them up and we're wearing the ski glasses because we got into the wild card.
When you should have won the division.
That's,
But
that's garbage. Okay, that's like a parent after having 3 kids, we're having a 4th one. Yay! No, it's automatic. Okay, the first one, yay! But you got the 3rd kid or 4th kid, and now during that incident, and because they're jumping around and doing all kinds. Did he
like pull a hamstring or something?
Did he have a freak accident? Because you got the list of people who have had freak accidents before.
Yeah.
You know,
Sammy Sosa sneezed. He threw out his back. Jose Quintana was doing his dishes and he almost chopped off his finger. He severed a nerve. And then there was it Morrow? I think it was Brandon Morrow who took off his pants in a hotel room. And I believe that happened in Baltimore in a cross-conference matchup. And he took off his pants and he threw out his back.
And all these guys, all these guys wanted a deal. And now here's Kate Horton. He has an opportunity to be the Rookie of the Year. You are within an eyelash to go into the postseason. Something that you aspired to do. And then you do something stupid and crack a rib, and he's gone. He's gone for the entire postseason.
He's gone for the whole offseason, too, because he won't pitch anything until spring.
So if the Cubs go to the World Series, this guy can't go. Now, he's got to be sitting in the basement somewhere like we are at the mansion here and going, what did I do to crack a rib?
Here's my question. Did you, Kate Horton, even crack a rib? Or is this just, no, I'm not doing this?
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know if he's a rib.
Because if you had a cough or bronchitis, you say a couple days, you isolate yourself, and you say skip. But he's on the DL. No one. So there's an injury. He's on the DL, and I still call it the DL, a disabled list. That's what it's called, and I know that's not politically correct, and they change it to the IL, but it's still the DL.
Okay, but still, let me say this. Okay. Before you go on your tirade, before you go on your filibuster here, let me say this. Justin Steele injured twice. Amaya injured twice. Bellinger when he was here got injured twice. Stroman when he was here got injured twice. Kate Horton is down. Kyle Tucker got hurt. Who's the medical training staff? You paid $40 million for a coaching staff you did not need, but who's the medical training staff here?
I don't know.
Because they're clearly not doing the job.
Some contracts where athletes are doing stupid stuff, there's clauses. You shouldn't be riding snowmobiles, and you shouldn't be skiing in the off season.
The Steelers didn't even want Roethlisberger driving that motorcycle.
Yes. And then you sit there and go, what the hell did Kate Horton do? And nobody knows. Nobody's asking.
Find out.
Nobody's asking these questions.
You will never find out.
Okay. Marquee, the networks, nobody. Because you're sitting there going, because if you had a healthy Kate Horton, it would have been Boyd last night, or your three pitchers, whatever. You would have had Boyd, Horton, and Imanaga. And you would not have a bullpen day today. The reason you're having a bullpen day today is because Kate Horton did something stupid, and you don't know why. And why is there this shroud over this black towel over it, and no one's finding out what the hell's going on?
Well, here's the other thing. And this harkens back to an earlier episode you and I did on this channel here. Kate Horton was in that grouping of the 15 guys that were drafted.
Yeah.
And all of them were pitchers.
And he's the only one that come out of he's the only one that's developed.
And he broke a rib. He broke a rib, supposedly. So, if he's gone, and you won't have him until spring training, and you don't even know when he's going to be at that point, who else do you have? Who else from that grouping do you have?
Because Ben Brown came from Philadelphia. Ben Brown wasn't one of the Cubby deals.
Got him in a trade.
Okay.
Farm system.
So all these people that they were drafted, I don't know.
And he washed out too.
He might be part of the bullpen, or is he even on the roster?
I hope he is.
I didn't even check to see if he's on the bullpen.
I hope he's not.
You know what? He might be part of that one-inning bullpen by committee.
I hope he's not.
Because if you got to sit back and go, of the guys available, well, Theo Barr didn't pitch yesterday, so he would be available. They said Kickerich is going to pitch. I got a feeling
Pomerantz went.
Pomerantz went yesterday. Are they going to throw Jordan Wicks?
God.
God, no.
What about Javier Assad in that mix? Because Assad has done it all.
Javier Assad might be part of...
Assad has done that all.
Yeah.
He's done relief, he's done closing, he's done starting pitching, he's done it all.
But if you got a chance to put your throat your foot on somebody's throat and take them out of your misery, why wouldn't you go with the guy that you had to get from the overseas, from the Japan League, who was going to be your ace? Why in the hell aren't you pitching him today and then worry about tomorrow? Worry about tomorrow.
He's an all-star too.
He's gotten rocked the last couple times. He's awesome. But let's worry about tomorrow. You got Dylan Cease, basically their ace, going against 6 pitchers today.
Craig Counsell, let me say this from the bottom of my heart. If you don't fix this, this program is not going to be very kind to you.
Okay. But now, if they pull this off, Counsell's a genius.
True. But if they don't, he could go back and go, we got him in Naga tomorrow, and all hands are on deck. Well, all hands should be on deck right now. And I know someone's going to say, oh, well, that's why they're having a bullpen game. No. This is what the Chicago Cubs do. 2003, all they needed to do was play Matt Clement in Game 5 in Florida, and they win. But no, they played a rookie, Carlos Zambrano, and then they lost. 2007, 2008, they mismanaged the bullpen. They got swept both times. And then you go to the Joe Madden era where you paid all that big money for John Lester, and he can't throw to first base.
Right. Because you're going to go to if you go till tomorrow, then it's going to be, well, they can't use this guy because he went 2 days in a row, and you can't use this guy, he went 2 days in a row. Then you got this guy, he got 2 days, and then you're sitting there with your starter at 90 pitches, and he's run out of gas.
Okay, let me say this, because who are they playing?
They're playing the Padres.
I have a point to this. That plays another element of it too. They have to exercise those demons as well. Now, Rick Sutcliffe in the 1984 season, they got him in the trade with Cleveland, and we got the Cleveland game going on right now. Now, and you would know better than me, at what time duration of the middle of that season did Rick Sutcliffe get to Chicago?
They mentioned that today because they talked about the 84. They talked about the 84 Cubs today. He pitched the last, little less than the last half of the year. Okay, and he was so amazing. He won. I think he went 10-1 or 11-1. So he had, he had 11 starts. So that means if he got 4 starters, and then that's the last 45 games or 50 games. Okay, so I'm removing him from the conversation right now. So it's safe to say that Steve Trout and who would have been the pitcher? I couldn't even remember who the other pitchers were. So if I couldn't even tell you who they were in '84. Because I know Steve Trout. Could have been Trout. Could have been. It wasn't Dempster. Gary Woods. With a G. Yeah, Woods. Lee Smith was a closer on that team. Yeah, we'll get you that stuff. But anyway. No, my point being is, like, if you had Steve Trout, if you had someone like him on this team, are you going to be, like, not putting him on the mound right now? Who, Trout? Yeah. Well, Trout was a full-time I know, that's my point. Starter. That's my point. Yes, you would go with a starter. He's not Roger Clemens, but think about these guys who do this bullpen stuff. The Tampa Bay guy, Kevin Cash, shot his own team in the foot. He shot his own team in the foot with this nonsense, with this in the World Series. In World Series, and the Dodgers, and they say, well, Roberts has done it. No, Roberts. You don't need to. Yeah, when you got the highest payroll in baseball, you can throw out anybody. And you're a dream team. And so. And his pitchers are dream teamers anyway. Well, but the other aspect of it is too, and no one's saying this, but I say it, DFAing Chris Flexen, who had an .833 winning percentage and 5-1, was a bad idea. DFAing Ryan Presley, when he was your setup man, was a bad idea. Granted, sure, Presley was meant to be the primary closing pitcher. That didn't go very well. However,
when they moved him to being setup man, he was damn good.
If the Cubs were you're right, if the Cubs were going to sacrifice somebody in an arm, you would go with Assad today because he's been a starter, like you said. You go inning by inning, and if he gets through the first, you put him in the second. You put him in the second, you put him in the third, and you go all the way until you can get 5. He could get 5 innings. Boyd was an all-star, and he went 4 1/3 last night. So if Javier Assad gave you 5 innings, that's more than Boyd gave you last night. And then you sit back with, then you go bullpen by committee, and then you sit back with Imanaga tomorrow, and you lay all the chips on the line. You see what happens.
And you don't think Javier Assad's glasses are legitimate?
Those are not prescription glasses.
Tell the people why you don't think that.
Okay. Because when he comes off the field, he takes them off. I wear my glasses all the time.
I wear mine every day too.
Okay. And I still play softball. I don't wear them in the outfield and go, hey, I'm going to the dugout, I'm going to take them off. They're color coordinated.
How many of them do you?
They're purple and pink and yellow. He's got all these goddamn pink glasses. No, they're cosmetic. I believe there's not even lenses in them. If I go up close, I bet there's not even lenses. I bet he's just got frames.
How many of them do you think he has?
6 or 7 at least.
Okay.
But
no, they have to win today. Finish, because if they don't, they're going to be in trouble. I don't think they'll make it out of the first round if they don't win today. I think they're dead in the water if they lose today. And I'm not saying that to be a pessimist and be, a bad fan or whatever.
If they were to get beat,
I don't trust this team.
If they were to get beat, let me tell you something, people. You better tune in to the next airing of this show, because I am going to just go berserk because at one time they were the best team in baseball.
Yep.
And then there was a 14.5 game swing because they were 6.5 up, and at one time
highest run differential,
and then they didn't finish that one time. They were 7.5 games behind Milwaukee. It's a 14 game swing, and then it was like, hey, we're just happy to get in the playoffs, and then you get beat by the Padres, who were a lower seeded team than you.
Who 40 years ago,
okay,
you lost the Padres then. I'd like to exercise these demons.
And again, home field doesn't mean anything, but they say, but they're playing at Wrigley. And then you're going to get beat at Wrigley. And then you got a guy with a broken rib.
Mysterious broken
rib. You got a guy 2 weeks ago who decided that I just want to go back home to Tampa. Oh, and I want to go see my regular doctor. And I'm telling you, that's a bunch of crap too. I think he was just tired, and what was the diagnosis? He came back, and what did they say?
Came back immediately.
Well,
he came back and played immediately.
Well, he came back and played immediately because they didn't know what they were going to do. But the diagnosis was the same as it was when he was in Chicago.
It was.
He had to go to Tampa.
He didn't have a diagnosis.
He didn't have a diagnosis.
There was no medical malpractice there.
No, because other people were playing. He's sitting there going, well, I got to get my ass back in the lineup. I feel good, Skip.
This is what they did.
And he got in.
$40 million.
I got my W flag. I got the new one outside. So don't. If you guys are watching this, don't say I'm anti-God. No.
No. We're just.
No.
Do I have permission to say a choice adjective here?
Well, you got about a minute and a half. Go ahead.
We're not anti-Chicago Cub baseball, or we're not anti-Chicago sports. We're anti-bullshit. That's what we're anti-against. And we've seen a lot of it.
And these people are being protected. Tell me why Cade Horton's got a fractured rib.
Has there ever been an athlete of any sport, of any team ever, get some mysterious injury before the playoffs?
Not this close. And not when you were billed to be the number 1 starter, to be the rookie of the year, and then you pull off this crap.
And you're throwing the football before the games. So, also, that ivy wall, that's all brick. So, were you running around? Did you run into the brick wall, throwing around the football? What, the Chicago Bears did that all the time. back in the 50s.
Nobody can. We're never going to find out, as you said. Never going to find out.
No, you're never going to.
So,
because if you went to the Cubs convention and you bring that up,
I think they'll take your credentials and say, "Get out of here."
Leave. Oh, I want to go there just to ask that question myself.
Well, the Cubs convention is still selling tickets. For the weekend. I don't know what they are.
Well, we snuck in there 10 years ago.
We snuck in, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
But maybe we'll be at Wrigley tomorrow if there's a game 3. Hope not.
There better not be.
Okay.
Just end it now.
But here's the other thing: the Padres lineup.
They're good.
And they didn't hit yesterday.
No.
Are you going to tell me Tatis and Machado and Arise are going to go...
They have to win today.
Are they going to go 0 for 12 today against a bullpen staff? And
this Cubs bullpen, and people think that they're great, but Rod Beck is not in that bullpen. Randy Myers is not.
If you're a Cub fan and you're sitting there and you're sitting back lighting this Red Armac cigar, thinking the game is over with this bullpen, and you're comfortable with Gickrich and Rogers and Pomerantz and Palencia. Why ain't Palencia closing anymore? Because he's scary as hell. He could have closed last night. He didn't close last night.
He throws 100 on everything. He threw nothing but four-seam fastballs and they couldn't hit him.
I think that if you just stood up, here's the Padres. I'm going to give you Padres the tip. If Palencia's in a game, just stand there, don't swing, and he's going to walk you. And he'll walk 4 guys in a row, and you'll score a run without hitting. Because he is so rare. He throws the ball 100 miles an hour, everything's up, and people are swinging and missing. Which is great.
Because they're afraid. They want to get the hell away from him.
Okay. But
they want to strike out to get the hell away from him.
If you're watching a game, look at the box and find out where the ball ends up when Palencia finds out the strike zone box. Find out where it is and make a reference and go, damn, if that guy didn't swing at that, that'd have been a ball.
They have to win today. Because it's like, if they don't, because they've not won a playoff round since 2017.
They finally won a game. First game they won since 2017.
And 4 years ago when they traded everybody away, and it was an entire eulogy for this whole second half of that season. And it was like, everyone was crying. It's like, why'd they trade all these people away? Well, imagine that. And again, I'm not anti-Cub, but that Chicago Cubs team, they're not the 1990s Chicago Bulls. They're not the 1980s Chicago Bears. No, they weren't. They were not the 2010s Chicago the 1960s Blackhawk teams. They weren't those people. They had the 2 great years, and then 2018 they failed. 2019 missed playoffs. 2020, 60 game schedule, and they couldn't win 2 games against a minor league no-name Florida Marlins team. And then the following year, they all got traded. And that was when the Little League, the Little League pitcher, and his dad was following him around everywhere.
The Williams guy.
Oh, God. Did Trevor Williams suck, or did he suck?
He sucked. But I'll leave you with this, because we're almost time for the Cub game. Just sitting there, if you're watching this, if Pete Armstrong strikes out 2 times today, and he gets 3 at-bats, he's 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. How in the hell do you turn around and play him in Game 3?
If you even get there.
Well,
again, it's a.
You hope not.
It's a hypothetical.
Because if you get to Game 3, that means the Cubs lost. If you don't go to Game 3, the Cubs end up winning. And then they're 2-0, and then you worry about it.
You got to win this. Because I think it could be smooth sailing if they get past this.
So then it would be the key. It would be old man against new man, the Milwaukee-Chicago deal all over again. We'll see what happens. But, hopefully the Cubbies are going to latch one out there. Again, Bears are 2-2. They got off week this Sunday, so we won't be doing any stuff about the Bears. And then we'll see what happens. But tune in on us, Hey Sports. And we will probably air something. If they win, we'll probably air something in a couple days. If they lose...
If they win, we'll probably post something today.
Okay. All right. So that's all we got for now. Hey Sports. See you later.